Gloomy Gulch is the last stop before the keep. An enchanted and haunted forest of dead trees, lingering ghosts, and the remains of an ancient galleon far above sea level. I feel like Gloomy Gulch is the most overlooked area of the game. And yes, while I am a big old spooky boy, predisposed to like the spookier things in life, I still feel this area doesn't get its due. A level shorter than the two preceding worlds, and the one after, Gloomy Gulch is all killer, no filler, and arguably the tightest collection of levels in the entire game. A triptych of forest levels, buffered by some of the most creative curveballs in not just DKC2, but the entire trilogy, all culminating in a crazy twist reveal for the boss battle. This is part 54 of Overthinking Donkey Kong Country 2. As always, before we get into the thick of it, we're looking at the overworld map. This picture is just fucking gorgeous. It's simple, but it's stunning. The balance of the composition, of the colors. You've got the 60-30-10 rule in full swing here, with the cold cyan serving as the base, and the sandy pathways and hive contrasting beautifully, all accented with sparing use of spectral green. The three main structures create a triangle that, along with the brighter paths, guides your eye across the image. I'm no art expert, far from it, but even with my limited plebeian knowledge, I can appreciate just how well put together Gloomy Gulch is. I want to detour slightly and talk about a theory I've been cooking up. See the mansion type thing where Haunted Hall takes place? For as long as I've known about it, I assumed it was a house, a manor or something. The name Haunted Hall reinforces that too. But I've been thinking, Gangplank Galleon has tossed itself upon the rocks of Crocodile Isle, another ship sailed into the cauldron and was abandoned, and a third ran aground in Krem Key. The remains of yet another ship's mast can be found in the final area of Gloomy Gulch. But what happened to the rest of the ship? Well, what if Haunted Hall isn't a hall at all, but is, in fact, the rest of that ship? Seems a bit ridiculous, but hear me out. The facade of the building looks like the back of the captain's quarters, right? And beneath it, the way the facade scallops down resembles the stern of a ship before the rudder. This is reinforced by the contours of the side too. And while it's hazy, you can trace the shape of the middle deck and prow in the background. So perhaps the Haunted Hall was converted from the ruins of a ship that somehow ran aground several hundred feet above sea level. Whether I'm onto something or not, and I'm probably not. I wish I had have noticed this before making the Haunted Hall video, so we could have talked about it more then. I think the biggest takeaway for me here is the mystery of it all. I know that sounds pretentious and hand-wavy, but I can back it up with an explanation. We've got the path, a clear through line throughout the gulch, but veer from it, even a little, and things start to get messy. At times it just looks like forest, but here and there it seems like mist or even water. And you get the impression that if you were to step off the beaten path in the wrong area, you could end up falling forever. All this makes sense when you take the name Gloomy Gulch into account. This is what a gulch looks like. So it's possible that we're up top and the space on either side of the path is much lower. Maybe the water that ran through Gloomy Gulch pulled in the key, and maybe that's why there's a higher concentration of supernatural enemies there than anywhere else. None of this is dispelled by the ghostly blue light that emanates from deep below the roots of the trees. It's like the earth itself is cracked, letting the light of the lost world escape up through here. Given what we've seen in Gusty Glade, maybe the earth has split open here. And given the high concentration of spirits, maybe it is more connected to the power of the island's core than it initially seems. Anyway, this part's running a bit long, so let's get this rig rolling. Cool colors, 3 key features, one of which being a lone hive far, far away from the rest. I love how you can see the mist from Webb Woods here too. The levels of Gloomy Gulch unfold in a really memorable way. Just remember, forests on the outside, forest in the center. Of the 2 remaining levels, the first is big on fast horizontal progression, while the second is slow vertical movement. Is that stupid? I mean, it makes sense in my brain. I've thrown the word triptych around a lot in this series, but it's exemplified here, in the aforementioned forest levels. All 3 work really well in isolation, but complement each other nicely, and tell an overarching story that, if you squint, gives us the true story of Gloomy Gulch. The first is Ghostly Grove, and it's a showcase of the enchanted forest theme and the ghostly nature of the world itself. It does this by introducing the ghost ropes and front-loading the level with cloaks. It's beautiful, arguably one of the most beautiful levels in the entire game. It's not what I'd call easy, but between the music and visuals, it does a good job of getting the heart rate down after King Zing, or more importantly, before Haunted Hall. Haunted Hall's our final minecart, or roller coaster, level for DKC2. Here we're pursued by Cackle, a giant skeletal Kremlin ghost. He's a bit forgettable, but he's cool, and while the level is tense, it's not too hard. It's also a lot of fun. Haunted Hall is kinda, sorta, this game's slipside ride, in that it's the only level of its kind in the entire game. It's here we would have met Mr. X, and shit, maybe this could have been the DKC trilogy's first mini-boss. I think the series could do with the occasional mini-boss, don't you? The middle entry in the Enchanted Forest trilogy is Gusty Glade. Gameplay is all about the wind, which is one of those brilliant, easy to learn, hard to master ideas that are found in abundance here. More interesting is the palette. The colors are the same as in Ghostly Grove, but they're not as vibrant. We're getting the faintest whiff of a story here. Parrot Shoot Panic is next. The Black Sheep of Gloomy Gulch. It's the only level that has nothing to do with the haunted theme of the world. It's also the only level in the entire game that features Quarks. As I've said at least once in this series, Quarks is tits on a bull useless, but he's a beautiful shade of purple, so he's the best animal buddy in the game. Beauty privilege? Yeah, maybe. What of it? My headcanon is the winds of Gusty Glade threw the Kongs up to the top of the hive, which is why they spend the level moving downwards. I mean, why else would they even be there, right? The final level is Web Woods, and it's here the triptych is complete and the story reaches its end. Web Woods, while sure a Squidder showcase level, is also the inevitable end of the entire forest. It's dry and dead, and that desaturated look we saw in Gusty Glade, that's that part of the forest following suit. The forest is dying, and I don't think anyone could do anything to stop it. And that brings us to the boss of Gloomy Gulch. Seriously, who expected Crow to return from Gangplank Galleon as a fucking ghost? What an absolute trip that was. And he's not alone either. A bunch of mini-neckies, also ghosts, show up to fuck up your day. And I think I said this in that episode, but it's weirdly personal, no? I believe that the Enchanted Forest triptych is more than visual alliteration, repetition, and variations on a theme. I believe, just as Kremkey showed us the Kremling's past and Crazy Kremland their present, that the Gulch showed us their inevitable future. We've discussed the short-sightedness and selfish ways of the Kremlings, both here and in Overthinking DKC ad nauseum, so I won't repeat myself there. It feels like, given time they don't have, all of Crocodile Isle looking like Gloomy Gulch is a foregone conclusion. And with that, Act 2 of Donkey Kong Country 2 is over. The third act sees the Kongs storming K. Rool's keep, and while they might have the big bad cornered, it's his home turf, and he's not going down without a fight. I mean, he absolutely goes down without a fight, failing to show up to the boss battle, but you get what I mean.